Hello everyone, this is JD from Slithering Oddities, and today I'm going to show you what we do here for incubation. We've actually changed things up slightly this year, but we'll get to that in a second, so let's go on in. So this is our incubator here at Slithering Oddities, and right now there are 8 clutches on here, I believe. We use these Rubbermaid tubs, as you can tell, as everything looks pretty uniform in here. Even the racks are Rubbermaid in here. That's a coincidence totally, but and what we do with these, I'll grab one that's not got eggs in it here. And this is what part of this is what we change this year, but I'll show you what we totally do with the tub here. Okay, so you got an air hole there. I like to drill a second air hole in the back in case things need it. And then, sorry about that, then I will use a piece of electrical tape to cover it, because usually I don't need extra ventilation, but just in case. So the inside, these lids seal really good. That's the one good part about these. Inside here, what we have is some Orbeez, which are water orbs that were, I believe, originally manufactured for plants. They're just these little crystals, and you fill them up, and you add water to them, and they will fill up basically, and get bigger. And then you can just add water to it liberally. You have a suspension grate here. This is what the eggs are going to sit on. I'll show you a container that has eggs shortly. And then underneath of that, you got 1-inch couplers from your local hardware store. I have a whole drawer full over here somewhere. Of course, that'll be the last one I open. This is all those are right there. You get them at Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever you want to go. Sorry, I'm holding a paper towel, but I'm going to be using that shortly. So yeah, that's the basic setup. Now, these lids, let's see if this one is moistened enough. This one's not too bad. It doesn't have too many eggs in it right now, and it's got some pretty good airflow. So let's get to that now, because that's important when you're breeding snakes. You want to know what to do. So let's go over to these jumbo carpet eggs over here. This is my eldest clutch in the incubator right now, and they're only a couple weeks out, and they're sweating real hard. I have not opened the tape on these. I've just left that. And what I'm doing with these is they tend to build moisture several times a day right now. So you can see me wiping it away there. So I come in here at least twice a day and wipe moisture from the lid. With these, it's been more like 3 times a day lately, because I just want to make sure that nothing's dripping on those eggs at all. That wasn't too bad. But as you can see, these are a couple weeks out. They're looking good, and that's only half the clutch. So the other half is right next door here. Look at that, already dumping in. So once again, you can see that moisture is already built. I just wiped these this morning, so that the snakes are respirating at this point. So once they start that heavy respiration on their own, you get a lot more humidity, so you really have to watch your drips. So yeah, that's basically the setup. Smaller stuff, I get a little smaller. These are like Anteracia clutches in here. I got a blood python clutch right here. One in the back is about to go bad, but the rest of them are looking great. This is a clutch that was just laid last night that we barely got up off the enclosure floor. This is from a children's python or long-term girl peg. Nice fresh setup there. You can see the Orbeez, all the stuff, the couplers, the grate. I think we might end up needing more tubs this year. As far as the rest of the setup of the incubator goes, it's pretty simple. I run it off an oil-filled radiator. I still have the old one that burned up in here, and there's another heater sitting in here as well, so don't mind that. But yeah, I just run it off this oil-filled radiator, and then that runs to a Renko thermostat, which I had one mounted to the outside of my incubator, and then it blew out, and I couldn't figure out how to fix that up because it's wired through the wall, and I didn't want to deal with it, so I just brought it in here. I set it at 88.5. I leave a 1 degree variant on it. It seems to work just fine. I know when I got into reptile keeping, everybody's like, constant temperature, constant temperature, constant temperature. 1 degree is not going to hurt some eggs. I've done it for years, and it's never had any kind of bad outcome for me at all. You want a consistent temperature. You don't want it to be, you know, like 85 one day, 90 the next. You want to have the right temperature range. But with pythons, I like to go about 88.5. Now I have incubated things down here on the floor. These are just egg laying tubs that I stash in here. Don't mind that. But I have put like bull snakes or colubrids down here on the floor, and they seem to incubate pretty good. It stays about 84, 85 degrees in here. My door is not super sealed up. I mean, it's tight. You can see it's pretty tight at the top here and around the sides. And then on the bottom, I got an old crappy piece of carpet down here that's just basically the weather strip and helps hold the heat in so that there's no airflow getting in and out. That actually was already on this door when I moved in here. It just so happened to work out. So you got your biggest components here are this. This is your ceiling fan. This is going to circulate your air. If you don't have this big of a space for a walk-in, you don't have to use a ceiling fan. You can get some kind of commercial fan. Get a good brand one, that way it doesn't catch on fire because you're going to be running it all the time. But yeah, any kind of fan that circulates the air well will work. You got your oil-filled radiator right here. This bad boy is your heat source. And then you got your Renko thermostat right here. And this has your power cord. And then I run my probe into an empty tub. And I just leave the lid cracked like that, and that works out great for me. I do have a temperature gauge hydrometer, but they don't work super well. I don't think they're, you know, manufactured stuff, so I just leave it in here just to reference it a little bit. I'm mainly worried about what that Renko thermostat says and how my eggs look. As you can see on the outside, look at these carpets. They're just sweating hard, man. And as you can see, nothing else quite sweating that hard yet. Not that far along. I got some these would be my next clutch. This is some Maclots pythons cooking right here. So yeah, a couple other things I want to go over. Now, inside your incubator, as basic as this is to set up, and you know, even if you're setting up a cooler style incubator, it's that basic. You need a heat source, a fan to circulate the air, and then you need humid tubs. So I keep a few things in here that are extra. You know, you already saw the 1-inch couplers in case I gotta set some more tubs up. I keep extra grates cut for down here, and a couple other things. Excuse me. Foot powder. Sometimes you can save an egg that's going bad with this, especially if it's moldy. It's gonna slip. Dental floss. This came in real handy last night. We had to use it to help get some eggs up off the bottom of a tub. Just a random cup. That way I can put a little bit of water in it and just dump a little bit of water in if I need to. And our surgical scissors, which naturally we'll clean up before we use with alcohol and things like that. This is just to help pip eggs. So if we have like a couple babies pip and the rest of them aren't out after, we usually go about 36 hours or maybe even 48 sometimes. If they haven't pipped by then, we usually cut, sometimes less, just kind of depends on what it is. But yeah, Yeah, we like to see them all pip, and if they don't, then that's when we'll cut. We don't cut eggs ever early or anything like that. We don't need to do that. The snakes know when they're ready to hatch. So when we start seeing little heads pop out, if we don't see the rest of them open, then we just assume maybe they might need a little assistance, so we'll help them out. So yeah, that's a walk-in incubator here at Slither Oddities. That's how we do it. Thanks for stopping in. Don't forget to like and subscribe.